Ready to call to order the Brookings County Commission, January 16th, 2024, with opening with the Pledge of Allegiance. Item number 3 on the agenda is invitation for citizen to schedule time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. There is a 5-minute time limit per person. Anyone wanting to speak during this agenda item must sign in prior to the start of the meeting. No commission action will be taken during the agenda item. Any requested action item may be scheduled for a future meeting date. I see we have 4 individuals, so we'll start. Susan Struey. Just please introduce yourself.
I'm Susan Struey. I just want to say that this is a new year. So what does your agenda show for Brookings County? I proclaim it will be one that honors the people of this county. Those seats are filled by you only because we had elected you all. Because you were honest to the point of having those seats to be servants of Brookings County. Electing you to these positions was to assure that we are choosing honest people. Do you realize that you are servants of the people of Brookings County? And it amazes me that you will spend and fight to be where you are, fighting to be our servants, to do what we need to have done in this county. All elected officials are servants. You're not the ones who make the rules, as you do wish, but the rules are set before you by the state and our country's constitution, we the people. If you cannot honor God by doing what is necessary and have fair and honest elections, you will not only have to answer to the people, because we know and we are watching, but also to the Lord. And then he decides that his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Jeff Struey.
Good morning. I'm Jeff Struey. I'm going to speak this morning on election integrity, and I think integrity belongs to every profession where anybody's working at. I spent a lifetime with the post office, and we called it sanctity of the mails. And that was adhered to from clerks to carriers to window clerks, postmasters, etc. We have a Secretary of State that listed 5 bullet points pertaining to election integrity that she campaigned on her campaign literature. Number 1, better business services. Number 2, clean voter rolls. South Dakota has 159 voters older than 110 still listed as active, and this was on 6/16/2022. 3, election leadership and training. Imagine, cast vote records do not exist. However, ES&S has determined that they not only exist, they are proprietary and they belong to the county. There has been a recent development in Minnehaha County where the county auditor down there has insisted she get training for these election voting machines and ballot tabulators. She insisted so much that she said that she wasn't going to use them unless she got the training. She got the training. They do exist, and I suggest that we get the information to get training for our auditor and election officials. Number 4, election security and support. South Dakota failed on external security audits in 2021. Poll books have no security requirements. Do they yet? 5, post-election reviews. South Dakota is one of only 4 states without any post-election reviews. How about pre-election reviews? Test decks. I finally have grasped the unique number concept for each candidate. Using prime numbers is ideal. Post-election reviews includes audits and the cast vote records. From the Secretary of State Gantt in 2005, when we first started getting machines through Monet Johnson's first year in office, every Secretary of State, every county auditor, and I'm sure every county commissioner in South Dakota for 20 years have denied cast vote records exists. Only in June of last year did we find out, with 8 executives from ES&S, 6 from the South Dakota Secretary of State's office, including Monet Johnson, and the Minnehaha County Auditor and her election official, did ES&S state they do exist and they do belong to the county. This was the meeting that led me to come before you this last July and proclaimed you've all been thrown under the bus. Well, you still virtually are if you haven't come up to comply with what you need to run secure elections. However, I will declare that from Dan as the state's attorney, through the commissioners here, Lori with the auditor's office, and Jen as her election official, I don't think I'd replace any of you because I think you are probably one of the most unique groups and work as a team together. However, Monet Johnson has no authority over elections in Brookings County. None. If you want to ask for her advice, I'm sure she would have it. If you want to get South Dakota law and ask about that, Dan would be happy to oblige. But he has no authority either. It is only the auditor and the canvassing board, period. I have also seen the numbers on hand counting, and you can save a ton of money if you go to hand counting or use it as a guide and an official verification. Thank you.
Next, Rick Weibel.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for having me here. My name is Rick Weibel from the wonderful city of Elkton, South Dakota. I want to talk about 2 things. 1, vote centers and why we shouldn't use them anymore. And 2, an emergency bill, SB 48, regarding cast vote records and how it finally recognizes that they do exist in the state of South Dakota, even though they've existed since 2005. So first, vote centers is defined in 1214-17 violate the state constitution. Article 7, Section 2, where it clearly states each elector who's qualified to vote within a precinct shall be entitled to vote in that precinct until he establishes another voting residence. An elector shall never lose his residency for voting solely by reason of his absence from the state. The conflict comes into play where 1214-17 in subdivision states the entire jurisdiction is designated as one voting precinct for the election. However, we know that's not true, since every Brookings County voter in the voter roll is still listed with their original separate precinct. And we still conduct elections for each original precinct committee man and committee woman, whereas they should only be one in existence for each, for committee man and committee woman, if we truly recognize the statute, and instead we have recognized the conflict between the Constitution and the statute. We've also have heard multiple times that there's been errors and also voters turned away where the election workers did not recognize that the ballots were right behind them, for example, in Aurora last year. So I would ask you to please consider removing the vote centers from our county and make elections simple, secure, and accurate again. Next is the upcoming Senate Bill 48. It states, these returns and the cast vote records and ballot images collected from the automatic tabulating machine, if any, are public records. The conflict is, if any. They've been required since 2005 when the state of South Dakota adopted 1217B-2, which states, each system shall fulfill the requirements for Election Assistance Commission standards, certification, and be approved by the Board of Elections prior to distribution and use. The use is every election, not just the first time. In the state, this made the U.S. Election Assistance Voluntary Voting System Guidelines 1.0 no longer voluntary, but now required before distribution and at every time the system is used. In that guideline, Section 2.15, System Audit, clearly states that they must present a concrete, indestructible archival record of all system activity related to the vote tally and are essential for public confidence in the accuracy of the tally for recounts and for evidence in the event of criminal or civil litigation. Then we get into the election management system of 2.16. It actually talks about the accumulation of vote totals, individual ballot images, and the cast vote records. Then we get into the data retention, which is a requirement that it's supposed to be kept for 22 months. The fact that you don't have the laptop, you fail to actually appropriately export the ballot images and cast vote records into election material that is required federally by default, but because of the way that we adopt the election law in South Dakota, it's also required for the election that we're conducting now for the city of Brookings. We also see that all audit trail information spelled out in section 5.5 shall be retained in its original format, whether it be real-time logs generated by the system or manual logs maintained by election personnel. The election audit trail includes not only in-process logs of election night and subsequent processing of absentee or provisional ballots, but also time logs, baseline of ballot definition, formats, system readiness, testing results.
Mr. Webley, you have 30 seconds.
Yep. And so I want to implore you that I do want to work with you to get you back into compliance with the federal standards, but also the state law. And I implore you to purchase the laptop, get the training. I was trained by ES&S last Thursday in Minnehaha County and asked specific questions about the systems. And we've been right for 3 years. And please avoid future litigation and do the right thing now. Thank you.
Next would be Jeanette Gibbons.
Good morning. And my notes are pretty short. I scribbled a few notes at the top of my paper here before I came up. I came in support of my friends. I do echo many of the same concerns that they have said this morning. And I've said some of those myself in the past. Our voting, our elections, we need to have confidence. And the people that we elect are not our rulers. Our elected officials are our representatives. And I look at many of you and I see you as my friends. Ryan, I've known you a long time. You're my son's age. So I can still see you out on baseball fields. This is not an adversarial relationship between myself, my friends, and you. We want the best for our community. We want the best for our families. And I've just done a lot of reflecting on a lot of things over recent weeks, over recent months and years. Ever since COVID hit, I think that just kind of turned my world upside down, as it did all of us. And it gave me a chance to look at a lot of things in my world and to question. And so I've questioned almost everything. And I have seen corruption in a lot of places that troubles me a great deal. I think the things that happened these past few years had to happen that way for us all to have our eyes opened and to see what is going on in our world, not just to be a go along, get along, and this is the way things have always been, and this is the way my parents did it, and this is the way my grandparents did it. That's not good enough, and especially as I look down the line going the other direction, that's not good enough for my children. That's not good enough for my grandchildren. I keep looking at my husband and I say, we're not leaving this kind of mess to our kids and grandkids and whoever comes after them. So I do turn back on myself, though, and think, what can I do to make a difference? I can make a difference in the way I present myself to people, in the way I think about people, the way I act towards others, the things that I do to improve my little corner of the world. And if we all do that, then we do change the world. So as soon as I leave here, I'm going to go to a kindergarten through third grade class, and I'm going to spend about an hour reading to them. And some of them will come and sit on my lap, and some of them come give me a hug, and that's the best part of my day, the best part of my week probably, other than every day seeing my own grandchildren. And seeing the world through children's eyes gives me such a different perspective. So here's a favorite question that I now ask my two granddaughters every day. I ask them, who loves you? And they each answer me by saying their own name. And that's where it starts. We look at ourselves, we look at the mistakes we've made, we look at what we can do differently, and each moment is a new starting point. So, yeah, I kind of messed up yesterday, but today's a brand new day, and 5 minutes from now is a brand new moment. So where do I go from here? And if I can look at myself and look at myself in the mirror seriously and answer to myself, and also look at myself and forgive myself and tell myself that I love me, that's where our world starts changing. I listened recently to a replay of a gentleman, Robert David Steele, who was in the CIA. And he was part of a group called an International Tribunal for International Justice. And this was in 2018. This group met, and they addressed human trafficking, they addressed the crimes in our governments, and one of his statements is, our governments have let all of us down. And as he points to the problems in our governments, he says that 90% of the people, and probably a higher number than that, are people trapped in a bad system. Good people trapped in a bad system. So this group addressed human trafficking issues, which is coming to the forefront more and more.
Ms. Gibbons, you have 30 seconds.
And he also addressed the fact that our governments have failed us. But it's good people caught in a bad system. I have much confidence in our local leadership, and I know we can all do better. And I start with myself first. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 4, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Changes, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 5, consent agenda items. We have the minutes, travel education requests, personal action notices, cellular authorizations, and human services report. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
Motion and second. Any comments? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Krogman. Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item number 6, approval of routine business, approval of the claims. By motion approved.
Move. Second.
Motion a second. Any comments, additions, or corrections? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Bartley.
Aye.
Hostler.
Aye.
Krogman.
Aye.
Vanderwall.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B, department head reports. Highway Department.
Good morning.
Morning.
You guys can see in my report there that some counties are going to band together here to bid our striping. If you guys recall last year, basically our stripes on our chip seal routes sat from June to October. One of the things that we're going to try to do, and talking with the contractors that are willing to bid it, a lot of times the reason that happened, the state typically didn't bid the striping until June, July, so by the time it was awarded, it was August. And then we finally get our stripes in September, October by the time they got here. So one of the things that we've collaboratively worked together, Minnehaha County is going to be administering it. We need to advertise it in our local papers, which I intend to do. But the intention of this is to try to expedite the process a little bit. If they're in the area doing work for the DOT or other projects, they can stem off and work on our projects if we're ready. So just kind of keeping you guys informed on that. One of the big things that we had to work through with the state is the monies that we did receive from the program. That money will be distributed in with our annual STIP payment. And we typically get that in June.
The funding per county, how will they establish how much each county?
Based upon lane miles in that county. Like I said, we're gonna try it this year. Basically, it's just an effort to try to expedite this process instead of having to wait so long before we get our stripes. Aside from that, the brew shop was completed and we are moved in. We're making it home, so that's nice to have done. We did get very fortunate in our snowstorm here this last weekend. We did go out on Sunday. I know Saturday was blaring wind all day. Sunday wasn't much better, but we did go out Sunday to push back some of them finger drifts, and boy, everything was just rock hard.
Any questions?
Brian, just following up from last meeting, we talked about those projects for those townships. The township project that was over 100,000, did you do any following up on that?
I'm working on it.
Thank you. Marty?
Good morning. Just a quick, I gave you lots of paperwork to study over for you. It was a quick overview for the year for the detention center and so forth. If you recall the U.S. Marshals Service, we took them on for a contract. We probably didn't get started until in June, so we just have a half a year there. Started out with 10 inmates, and we are up to 15 we'll take. We could probably take some more than that too if our numbers stay down as far as our local inmates. As of right now, I got 47 in jail. 20 of them are Brookings County inmates, and then 27 are other inmates. Brian kind of talked about our snow event, that everything went pretty good. We did have one fire, a semi caught fire in a machine shed, caused quite a bit of damage and so forth. But when you get cold temperatures like it is, we start worrying about fires and stuff, that type of stuff, because a lot of places use auxiliary heat and extension cords and things like that. But we made her through. Nothing major. We had some slide-ins, but no injuries due to those. Hamilton County Sheriff contacted me, and he'd like to do a contract with us. And I said that that wouldn't be a problem, so I sent him out a contract to be approved with his commission, and I'll bring it before you guys to have it approved. Also, I gave you, which was kind of interesting, is my staff just did a quick check here a couple weeks ago on the top 10 posts for the sheriff's office, and it's kind of interesting. The weather posts are, December 22nd, that's when we had that fog and stuff, and you can see that it reached 115 posts. So it's kind of interesting that Facebook, sometimes Facebook is a hindrance, but sometimes it does reach a lot of people, and sometimes on Facebook you get criticized for things too, but you got to take the criticism with the good. I think in the whole, it's better for us than not. You know, and sometimes the criticism is okay, because sometimes we learn by that criticism too, and can change things too. So you got to kind of take the good with the bad. But definitely, if we show pictures, if we put out a notice and says the roads are slippery in a paragraph, you don't get that many views or posts or whatever. But if you show a picture of the road with the snow blowing across and so forth, then you get a lot of posts, or a lot of views and so forth. So I just thought that'd be interesting for you. Other than that, I unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions for Sheriff?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Bob?
Good morning. I sent out a
Morning.
staff report this time. The big thing there is our end-of-year report is listed. We're over COVID from the building and planning side of the house. We had a good year for the building permits. And items that's not on the staff report, February 28th, there's a pipeline safety meeting over at the Dakota Center. It's February 28th. It's going to be lunchtime. Historically, they send out like 2,000 of these invitations. If you don't get an invitation and you want to go to it, let me know. We'll hook you up to it. Any questions on the end of year report? If not, we are working back in 2012. We did an emergency management or Brookings County agreement between United Retirement Center at the time. Now it's, of course, United Living Community, I believe it is. And we are looking to upgrade that agreement. We're working with the ULC and the Pandemic Planning Coordinating Committee. We've done some drafting. We sent it to the state's attorney to take a look at it, and that'll be coming to you once his review's done. And our Pandemic Planning Coordinating Committee had a review of our documentation. So our plan's approved. We paid to have it reviewed last year, or redone last year. It is fully approved by the state of South Dakota, and the only change, they had to update a couple of the South Dakota codified laws. And other than that, that's all I have. Any questions?
Bob, I did have one question. For people that had buildings that were damaged in the derecho, has time run out for those building permits that?
Yes. Time has run out, although if they got the building permit, they still have time to finish
Build.
the construction. Correct. We
But they
give
need,
them, I believe we gave them 18 months, and it's been almost 2 years now.
okay,
Whatever the time frame, but yeah. We kept real good track of all that. I don't know if she broke it down by those building permits or not, but if you're interested, we could always get you a report on that.
that's fine. Any
Thank you.
questions for Bob? Hearing none, thank you. Dustin from the BCOAC.
Do I have 2 minutes? Is that what I got? You got it scheduled 9 o'clock? No? Oh,
We don't have one.
perfect.
You.
Submitted a report that you guys have. Just submitted the attendance from monthly, yearly, and then yearly over the last 3 years, compared the archery range versus gun range. I know Commissioner Krogman wanted that. So that's in there. We also did a breakdown of the events and building usage over 2023. We were behind a few events from 2022. 2022 was a pretty good year with 522 events. Last year we did 486. That's anywhere from a 4-H meeting to a paid birthday party. So we compile everything together. There's some positive and negative patterns there, so we're going to try to adjust those to see what we can do to see what people want. You guys have any questions on any of that? I did have one, the unpaid events under GFP. Technically, that's covered under their building rent, is what we've agreed upon, and also the grants that we apply with them for letting them use the building. I also submitted a year-to-date building update from the day I started, as far as like a preventative maintenance agreement versus like the rooftop unit that we added on the classroom, anything that we've done major or minor, just so we can go back and look at that if we ever have any questions as far as warranty work or anything like that, agreements with Game Fish and Parks. We did receive that check for half of the construction for the new offices. They're starting to move in. That was $14,955.96, so we did receive half of that. Office project in the storage room is done with the 4-H storage area and then the 2 offices for Game Fish and Parks. That's completely buttoned up. They're just going to add, Game Fish and Parks is going to add some graphics, and I think Sonia might put some graphics on the wall just to kind of direct people on down that way. I did put some pictures at the end of my report with all that too. Maintenance for 2024, you should be receiving the train preventative maintenance agreement, so we can pay that. That's around $22,000. That's our dynamic filters, all the filters and the preventative maintenance for the year. We're looking at changing some fluorescent bulbs out to LED. I'm going to submit that to the advisory board at the next meeting just to kind of update that, look at price points and versus us doing it. And then I know them LED bulbs last up to 10 to 15 years. Changing the dynamic filters, that's a yearly job, but we try to work with Game Fish and Parks to cover 75% of those costs. And then resealing the gun range floor this year, that was approved by you guys with the grant in 2023. And I just want to let you guys know the state's fiscal year is July 1 to July 1, so we have to overlap 6 months and get that done in that 6 months period with my budget. Our Brookings, the advisor, our OAC budget. We did increase prices. I submitted those to you guys in my report a while back, January 1st, 2024. Those were approved by the advisory board. In 2024, we got some new banquet chairs that we're going to try to look at for the classroom, and then possibly some new carpet. And we got a little utility closet we're going to try to seal up in the gun range, try to improve that airflow as well. And then painting around the building. We can do that in-house when it gets slow in the summertime. And then events. I'm just scrolling through there, just trying to put some pictures of what we've done out there over 2024 or 2023. And then some kind of big milestones that we did out there. The Gun League started. Joed has started. They postponed due to the storm last Monday. But everything's kind of going for the year. 4-H is shooting sports. I know they canceled a few over the weekend just due to the cold weather, but everything should be in full swing now. The big archery shoot that Joed does is March 23rd and 24th. And then some bigger events that we're trying to make a yearly event in the building. The AKC scent trials, and then the classes and stuff with the Game Fish Park interns. We got a few of those scheduled for 2024. That's going pretty good. And then possibly doing our rummage sale again and maybe a craft fair. And then any questions that I had, I just wanted to say our volunteers, we have a great volunteer staff out there. They volunteered 3,591 hours. That's coming in and cleaning with me on Tuesday mornings. That's all the gun range hours working for the range safety officers. I also wanted to thank you guys for letting us do what we do out there. We get a lot of compliments from people saying that they like a county-owned facility like this and something to do just to give back to the community. It's really nice. And then all the other apartments, Stacy and Dan and finance office and Brian and Marty helping us out, anything we need out there. And that's all I had, unless you guys had any questions for me.
Any comments for Brian?
For the report,
Yeah, thank you.
kind of what we were looking for, I think.
Okay.
Appreciate your work out there.
Yep, thank you.
And make sure that, you know, it's very valuable, the bottom item there, the volunteer hours. It's, thank those guys immensely what they do for us out
Yeah.
there. It's,
Yeah, we always try to give them a little treat, or maybe I try to do a gift card for them. I try to just help them out that way. And that's me purchasing just to try to help them out to say thanks. And then we do their yearly kind of appreciation dinner that we do for them in the summer. They really appreciate that too. So.
Just one other comment. I know that some people, the volunteers in particular that work out there, have complimented you on your leadership and your management of the facility. They feel that that's never been at that high a level in the past, and they appreciate you as much as we appreciate your work too.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Misty? You know what I mean? Okay. Moving on, we have finance officer's report, be it noted items, auditor's account with the treasurer, pay expenditure report, and register of deeds statement of fees collected.
Just a note to the highway expenditure report that was handed out this morning. That wasn't turned in time for the packet, but I did make copies, handed that out this morning.
Okay. And item D, be it noted items, local emergency management performance grant quarterly report, a wage listing, volunteer lists, BCOAC range safety officers, archery range volunteers, and pistol range committee, storm spotters, pandemic planning coordination committee, points of dispensing committee, and I believe that's all. We do not have a item number 7, a scheduled agenda item, so we'll move on to regular business. Item A, action to approve resolution number 24-04, a resolution setting weight limit enforcements on Brookings County highways. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Comments?
It's just the annual update that we need to do, and I will be submitting this back to the state along with a letter to the Highway Patrol requesting that they assist us with the weight enforcement when the signs are up.
Any other questions? Hearing none, call a roll.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B, action approve resolution number 24-05, a resolution setting the official pay plan for 2024 and amending resolution number 23-52. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Comments?
There were 2 edits to this that was approved back in December. The new Veteran Service Assistant position was mistakenly left off, and then there was a change to the office manager, now office technician position in the county development offices. So those changes are noted on this updated resolution.
Any questions? Hearing none, call a roll, please.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Krogman?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number C, action to approve abatement number 24-01, an application for abatement due to qualifying for disabled veterans exemption in the amount of $1,248.74. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments? Any background on this?
I believe both, all of these abatements have been, are recommended for approval by both Jacob Remmer, our Director of Equalization, and Lori Schultz, our Finance Officer.
Okay. Hearing no comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item D, action approve abatement number 24-02, an application for abatement due to qualifying for disabled veterans exemption in the amount of $2,243.13. A motion to approve.
Move approval.
A motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item E, action approve abatement number 24-03, an abatement application made by David A. Linneman, Living Trust for parcel number 17000-11251-102-00 in the amount of $893.59. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item F, action approve abatement number 24-04, an abatement application made by Russell G. Snyder, exec, for parcel number 14104-11151-074-23 in the amount of $96.65. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item G, action approve abatement number 24-05, an abatement application made by Kurt D. Nelson, executive for parcel number 35300-00200-008-00 in the amount of $59.32. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item H, action approve abatement number 24-06, an abatement application made by Brookings Area Transit Authority for parcel number 40375-00900-001-00 in the amount of $3,349.48. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Motion and second. Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item I, action to approve abatement number 24-07, an abatement application made by R.S. Metalan and LLC for parcel number 15000-10951-081-00 in the amount of $420.52. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item J, action approve abatement number 2408, an abatement application made by Tiana Gottsleben for parcel number 37075-00100-004-00 in the amount of $388.11. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
A motion and a second. Comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item K, action approve agreement number 24-02, a letter of agreement between Brookings County and First District Association of Local Governments for the Brookings County Emergency Management Pre-Disaster Mitigation Plan. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Any comments or questions for Bob? Hearing none, call the roll, please.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Hostler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
motion carries.
Item L, action to approve agreement number 24-03, an agreement between Brookings County and OTIS Elevator to modernize the courthouse elevator. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
This project was discussed at budget time last summer. It's a little bit higher quote than what we budgeted for, but I think the budget can handle that. This is the courthouse elevator. This is basically updating the brains of the elevator, not the elevator car itself, but this is to get it up to date and all code compliant so that if there are ever issues, we don't have problems with it being too old to service, basically.
Any questions? Any other comments? Hearing none, call roll, Paul.
Bartley,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Hostler,
Aye.
Vanderwall,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
motion carries.
Item M, action to approve an application made by the Brookings Country Club for a package off-sale liquor license expiring December 31st, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
As you can see, the Brookings Country Club did submit an application to renew their off-sale liquor license. That is okay with the Department of Revenue. Their current license has expired. As you recall, you guys approved that at the late December, so that did expire. However, the Department of Revenue did say that it was okay to turn in a renewal one. So this application is for that purpose.
Okay, any other comments? Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item N, action to approve a payment from the Fire Department Long-Term Fund to the Badger Volunteer Fire Department in the amount of $25,564.05 to replace a grass unit. I have a motion approved.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
So this is a request from that long-term fund. If you recall, at the end of every year, whatever budget is remaining in the general fund that we budget for fire departments goes into this long-term fund. And then they track that at that fire association level for all of the different departments that serve any part of Brookings County. So this is Badger now using some of those accumulated funds to purchase this new grass unit.
How much do they, I'm not sure if my microphone's working here or not, but I've got it on. But anyway, how much do they have in there?
I don't know, but it's all tracked by the association, and I know Pete has signed off on this, so they are aware of this. It actually comes, the departments submit it to the association, and then they make sure that they have the funds there, and then they submit the claim to me to be approved. So.
Any other comments? Hearing none, call a roll.
Krogman?
Aye.
Hostler?
Aye.
Vanderwall?
Aye.
Bartley?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item O, action approve a request to fill vacancy for 2 seasonal ATV drivers in the Weed and Pest Department. Do I have motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
We have 2 of these positions. Yeah, Misty's here. We have the 2 positions. Typically, we don't fill it if the 2 are, say they're going to come back, but the 2 that we've had the last few years are not returning for this summer, so we have to hire new.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item P, action to declare items as surplus property to be destroyed or sold. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'm guessing here's the list. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Yeah, so in your packet, you should see the department heads and I've been busy cleaning up their fixed assets sheets. All of the department heads were given a listing of everything that's in their fixed asset list. And so basically they go through the list and make sure that they either have those items or if they've gotten rid of them. Well, basically we're just cleaning up the rolls. So some of the items that we've gotten back, you can see items to be destroyed. There's an item from the community health, the commission department, county building, the admin building. A lot of these items have been destroyed already. You can see one of the items was destroyed in the jail expansion. So basically we're just cleaning these up. The sheriff's office does have 3 vehicles that they would like to sell on the online auction, and that'll happen at a future date. And I'll let you guys know of that.
Okay. Any other comments? Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried. Item number 9, Commission Department Directors Report.
As part of my report, you can see the December Veteran Service Officer report, 133 veterans events and 9 DAV van rides that were scheduled. I did include it in with my report, and I also handed it out in case you did want a hard copy, is the itinerary for Brookings Day tomorrow out in Pier. So now you have them in both places. So that is, and I know you're going to be kind of talking amongst yourselves and planning and how you get out there. The general fund surplus analysis information was also included with my report. We were at 28% at year end. We like to be right around that 25%, so I thought we did a pretty good job there. Our 10-year average is about 26%, so I think we did just fine there. Happy with that. Other than that, just some things, some upcoming dates. Again, tomorrow, Brookings Day at the Capitol, and I know all of you, I think, plan on going out to that. January 21st, we did receive an invitation. I did hand that out for a 90th birthday for Al Kurtenbach. Handed that out this morning. And then on February 19th is President's Day, and offices will be closed once again. Looking out ahead, I think Bob had mentioned it, February 28th, there's a pipeline meeting here in town. I'll be getting additional information too. I think we received some of that late last week, and I'll be getting that out to you as well. So that's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
I did have one question. I had a person approach me for the DAV van. What's status on that? Would they still contact the Veterans Office, or?
Yes, if they get in touch with Courtney or Matt, they can talk to them about the process of getting certified.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to the State's Attorney's Office report. Item 11 is Commissioner reports. Commissioner Vanderwall.
Thank you. I just have one meeting that I attended. I attended the Volga Fireman annual feed and gun raffle on Wednesday, January 10. It had been rescheduled from Monday to Wednesday. The crowd was good. Thank you. That's it.
Mr. Bartley.
Thank you. On the second, after our meeting in the morning, I attended the County Planning Commission that evening, along with the joint jurisdiction meeting, things that we will have on our future agendas if necessary. Joint jurisdiction was rather quick and got through it fast on the 8th. Attended a Brookings Behavioral Health Zoom meeting about our fundraising efforts for the new Ivy Center, the new building for behavioral health. And again, if anybody's interested in donating funds to our building fund, get a hold of Mary Beth Fishback at Behavioral Health and visit with her. She'll tell you all the details. On the 9th, I also went over to the Volga Fireman's Social. It was kind of nice to have the new truck that our special funds paid for or helped pay for, part of, on display from the Bruce Fire Department. And it was nice that they recognize the Brookings County Commission for all our efforts in providing funding for a lot of the fire departments in the county. So it was nice to see the truck and tour the truck. They just got it. It was nice and clean. I told them not to drive it home that night. It would get dirty. So I think they left it that way. But that was nice to have recognition for our efforts. On the 12th, on Friday, I turned in my petitions to Jenna to run again for the county commission, just so you know that I did that. And that's my report. Thank you.
Commissioner Krogman.
Kind of light for me, January 12th here, I had a meeting with another board member on the research with Dwayne at the research park to go over some leases, and that's about it.
Commissioner Hostler.
Very, very light. I have nothing to report.
Okay. On the 10th, I did attend the Conservation District meeting, had reassignment of officers, and noted that there's a couple openings for Conservation Board. Have to go through the same process as Commissioner Bartley. They have to get signatures and be in the November election. So that's out there for somebody who's interested. On the later that evening, Volga Fireman's Feed, also Dave Jacobson thanked the commission for our efforts towards, I guess, all the emergency response, money that we put forward for those trucks and the ambulances. You gotta, I told him we gotta remember these guys were all volunteers, and hopefully we can help them out and upgrade their safety equipment also. On the 11th, had a pandemic planning committee meeting at the hospital. New to that again. Good meeting. Keep planning. You never know. They talked about different scenarios with having 2 or 3 different different pandemics at a time, and I guess now we have 3 right now with the influenza and all the different sicknesses. So it could possibly even be 4 if we could get something else. But it was a good meeting. With that, that's all I had. Moving on to item number 12, the executive session. We have none. Item 13, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We are adjourned.